Hi everyone! Today we are going to talk about witchcraft books that I recommend. So let's get right into it. Because it's the season of the witch, I thought this would be like a perfect time to finally talk about more books on this subject. So first of all, I have to mention this book about Wicca. I suggest this book to discover the differences between witchcraft and Wicca because they get confused for being the same thing, but this book explains it very well. Wicca could be witchcraft, but not all witchcraft is Wicca. Also, this amazing book. This is probably one of my most magical books I have. It contains not only spells, but also tarot cards, astrology, palm readings, auras, tea leaf readings, and so much more magic that you could learn about and deep dive into. It really is meant to be the book that you go to for learning about magic and what kinds of magic there are. The book discusses not only ancient magic, but also modern magic, and it helped me a lot because when I wanted to explore new witchcraft topics and got this book, I was like, wow, I can now practice more things that could help me manifest or predict the future, or even just to perform magic for spells or healing, because having this book opens up the door to learning about all new types of witchcraft that you could practice or at least try out. There's hundreds of ways to perform magic, so it's a great idea to find what works best for you, and this book is the perfect book for that because it mentions basically everything you could try. It also mentions witchcraft that is no longer legal, but it still mentions it because the book does its best to not leave anything magical out. But next up, auras. I suggest this book for learning about auras because it is a great way to learn how to understand energy and how people's energy feel and how to identify different energies that people radiate. We all have instincts that tell us things about people, even if that person didn't say anything. I'm sure you've had a friend or a family member tell you at some point that a person they know gives them a weird vibe. However, with auras, we don't only feel the vibes, but also see them. I am only rarely ever able to see people's auras, but I actually have a friend who could see auras on about every person, because everyone has a different level of ability in this area, but it is very useful if you find a reason to use it in your life. I know somebody who uses auras to be able to tell who to trust and who to not trust, for example, and that same person also refuses to hug certain people with auras they do not trust because if somebody has bad energy, they think that if you hug a person with bad energy, that bad energy will transfer onto you. Which, by the way, hugging people is great, but if somebody has bad intentions, it's probably best to stay away from them. And that's why I think witchcraft could also really help people see things they hadn't seen before. Because yes, we have basic instincts to be able to, I guess, tell who to trust and who not. But a lot of the times we're wrong, so sometimes using different forms of magic could really help you find who to trust and also who isn't trustworthy. I mean, plenty of people use magic to be able to predict their future and manifest things, so it's not surprising that you could also use witchcraft to be able to tell the fakes apart from the people who are real. Anyway, I wanted to mention astrology. I used to use the Astrology 101 book, but since I got this book, I like this book a lot better. This astrology book I think is great to use if you want to understand astrology on a level that isn't overwhelming. I find that a lot of astrology is really complex, so this book is perfect to me because it explains things so well without making astrology feel like something that is almost impossible to understand fully. By the way, I got this as a gift from a subscriber, so thank you for using my Amazon wishlist. I use astrology very casually, but I love Chinese astrology because I feel like it just enters a deeper level of astrology that isn't too hard to understand, but yet explains complex topics in astrology that are extremely useful. For example, a lot of people ask what is your sign, but not many people ask what your sign of your year is. Because the animal of the year you were born heavily impacts not only your destiny for the year, but also how your birth month sign interacts with it. I like to see the larger picture, so instead of paying attention to daily horoscopes, I look at the yearly Chinese astrology horoscopes instead. Dreams. I believe dreams could be used to connect with your spiritual side, so this book can be great for becoming more in tune with your dream side of your soul. In my opinion, when we sleep and dream, our souls wander the other side. That is very magical in a way. Our dreams can symbolize different meanings, and if you get into lucid dreaming, you can take control of your dreams and explore to discover new things. It's almost like a video game. I really do enjoy dreaming. It is like a way of being renewed in a way. One magical creature that tends to appear in my dreams is a phoenix, and whenever they appear, I know something is going on in my soul or life that could cause that bird to appear. Some people also use their dreams to get answers from gods. I mean, we can't walk up to Mount Olympus and ask questions usually, so sometimes dreams are the best option. Dreams can help us sense impending good or bad in our future, and even help us make sense of our past to gain closure in parts of our life or open up new chapters. I got this book as a gift from a subscriber, so thank you so much for using the Amazon wishlist, of course. But next up, this is probably the best book I have on ancient witchcraft in Greece and Rome. I have others I have mentioned before in previous videos, but I avoided buying this book because I don't have enough space. But then I got it, and I love the book. I'm so glad I made the purchase because this book is so good at deep diving into magic, myths, and lore, and how it all ties together with gods as well. Plus, it's written in a way that keeps your attention. A lot of ancient magic books are written like college textbooks, so this one is a great book because it also isn't focused on just magic. So you learn, I feel like, a lot more than I've ever learned from magic textbooks. This book is my new favorite ancient Greek and Roman book because it's all spells, mythical creatures, lore, witchcraft dolls, and a lot more. I really enjoy this book, and it is very inspiring for finding ways to incorporate ancient Greek magic into your modern day magic. Witchcraft is now even more exciting for me, and also more effective, I'd say, in practice, I suppose. Because if you really feel your magic, and your energy is good, and you enjoy what magic you perform, then in my opinion, I think that the witchcraft works better. I mean, if you perform what makes you feel more powerful, then you'll probably make your magic more powerful as well. But now let's talk about the last 3 books on this list, which are horned god related. So first of all, The Witch's Devil. I got this book as a gift from a subscriber. This book also explains the devil in being used with witches. It's a very creepy topic, but it's very important to learn in my opinion because the witch's devil is not only historical but also used by witches today sometimes. I mean, anyone could try to summon devils if they want, but this book explains the myths and lore of the witch's devil so well, and plus it's written like you actually are in a forest at night exploring the past. This book also reminds me of the movie The Witch, except I feel like this book could actually be used to help you use the devil in your witchcraft if you would like to. I know that probably sounds scary if you're new to this stuff, but once you deep dive more into it, it becomes less scary and makes a lot more sense. But moving on, this book, okay? I actually got rid of it originally since I thought I didn't need it, but ever since I got rid of it, I just missed it more and needed it back even more. So I got it back, and I love this book a lot because although it's written like a scholarly essay, the vibe of the book reminds me very much of the movie The Witch. This book won't teach you spells, but it is historical, and I thought I could include it. It does talk about things like weird sacrifices or dances with the devil in the forest, or other weird things like that, which you have probably heard of before in Salem witch stories. It also mentions talking goats as well as a talking donkey, which probably explains why a lot of Christians think talking animals are satanic. Sure, a lot of anti-witch stuff was just propaganda and lies, but I think reading this book and deep diving into the history and learning about the past is a great way to not repeat it in the future. There has been many forms of the horned god. So, speaking of devils, if you see a horned god and think Pan, Satan, or any other, like, horned god, well, the horned god really started off as a fertility god, but over time they got demonized into being seen as evil. Newer religions painted lust as evil, which means that any horned gods being associated with sexual energy made them be labeled as demonic. So just remember, if you see horns, just think horny, and you know how a lot of religions are, lust is seen as bad. So that's kind of how the demonization of horned gods began, because this belief that sex is bad basically painted horned gods to be seen as evil. By the way, I got this as a gift from a subscriber, so thank you for using my Amazon wishlist. So learning the evolution of horned gods is very important because as a person who was raised to believe in Christianity, reading this book helped me learn a lot more about the slander that has been placed on horned gods. People also have said before how horned gods are demonic, but since getting older, and learning new things about mythology, witchcraft, and religion, I can now see that horned gods don't mean bad or stubborn or evil in any way. It just means fertility and lust. I mean, there is women in ancient times and even today who have worshipped horned gods hoping to manifest enough fertility to help them create a baby. So that is why I mentioned these few devil books, because it really helps us understand what is slander, what is propaganda, and what is truth and actual lore. But that is pretty much it. However, just know that witchcraft could be good, witchcraft could be bad. There is curses, there is healing spells, there is love spells, and there is manifestations. There is sacrifices, and there is witches who don't even perform sacrifices. Witchcraft is all up to the person who performs it, you know? So whether or not a witch believes in using devils or not doesn't really matter. All I really care about is that people practice ethical magic, because although it's really fun to perform magic, there are some people who do perform it in a really bad way that can be illegal. I hope all that makes sense. Because witchcraft has been slandered for so long, and people just think it's bad, but in reality, it's not. It's only bad if you use it in a bad way. But if there is one person in a group of 100 people who did something bad, now, because that one person did something bad, now everybody looks bad, which is not fair at all. Because yes, there are witches who can do bad things. Everybody is capable of doing bad things at some point. But that doesn't mean witchcraft is bad. And I just really hope that that is explained very, very well. Because I hate how people just assume that witchcraft is bad, or that it's satanic or demonic or evil in some way. Because in reality, like, witchcraft is only bad if you use it in a bad way. And just because somebody uses devils in witchcraft doesn't mean it's bad. And although most witches I know of don't use devils in witchcraft, even if they were to, that doesn't mean it's going to be bad anyway. So I hope these books really explain everything very well. It's a very serious topic. It's a very deep topic, and to me, it's very personal. So that's why I'm hoping I explain everything really well, because, like, I don't want anybody to think that witchcraft is scary or the Christians were right all along, you know? Because there has been so much slander and so much oppression and so much wrongdoing towards witches, as well as horned gods. And I believe that understanding the whole story will really help people one day accept witchcraft more, because right now in time, like, people who perform witchcraft, they still get looked at weird. They still are told they're really bad people. People just assume if you're a witch, then you're performing really, really bad things, but that's not true. So yeah, that is the end of this video. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!